Now that we've made a logo for this website, as well as some really crisp and clean banner images, the next step of the district theme site design is going to be to go to the actual category photos. And there's going to be 6 of them, and these are also called gallery photos on district theme. And essentially, they're going to preview the different types of collections that you will have in your brand and niche dropshipping store. And I'm going to take a pretty unique approach to this one. I'm going to be making these category photos completely out of images taken from the catalog pictures on AliExpress rather than iStock photos, because I understand iStock photos and stock images in general can get pretty expensive, and we already spent a decent amount in order to get those banners. I think it's a great investment, but I'm just going to show you that you can make really engaging websites even if you rely on AliExpress photos. So what I'm going to do now is go into my collection and take a look at some HD photos and see if we can leverage them to make some category photos. I can already see that this first image right here of this bedding looks pretty HD. It looks like it's something that I can use to make a great category picture to represent the bedding section of Modern Habitat. And now I just have to find the pictures for the other categories. And keep in mind that we want to source a total of 6 different images that we want to use, because there's 6 slides that are optional with district theme. You can also reduce it down to 3. Basically, you have a choice between featuring 3 collections or 6. We're going to go with 6 this time. This one seems like a great one for lighting. Now let's go into the dining category. And again, I'm just looking at engaging pictures that are high definition that could be great visual assets for these category pictures. And these category pictures are very important from a perspective of navigation, because customers, if they like the front facing creative or image of the category banner, then they're able to click on into the category level. And maybe, for example, someone coming onto this website is really interested in bedding, then they're going to click on that bedding image and go straight and look at the bedding products, right? Whatever makes it more intuitive for users to navigate your website is only going to make your conversion rate that much better, because people need to find the products they want in order to actually purchase them. So I'm going to find one for storage. Let me just take a look. This one looks pretty cool. And again, I maintain a consistent theme as well, right? You can see I'm only picking images that have these lifestyle backgrounds. And now that they're loaded up and saved on my computer, let's make some engaging collection photos on Photoshop. The first thing to do is to unlock that layer, which I've already done. And now we have to adjust the canvas size to make it optimal for category photos. And all we have to do is go to image, canvas size, and we're going to make this 500 by 300 pixels. Make sure it's set to pixels and not anything else. And now I'm just going to play with this image, drag it around until it fits the canvas size perfectly. And it's okay if some of the image is cut off. I'm just visualizing if this is going to be a good representation of the bedding category on Modern Habitat. And this looks pretty awesome, but it's missing one element, which is a white border around this image. And why is it necessary? Let's go back to district theme and it'll be very clear. It's because you see how all these category image templates are touching each other. So I want to make a border between the images so it doesn't look like a hodgepodge kind of collage of random images, and it actually looks like individual buttons you can click into to get to the collection level. So we're going to go back to Photoshop. In order to make the borders, it's quite simple. I'm just going to take the rectangular tool and make it white, and essentially make white boxes that are very thin and snug. We don't want it to be too big, or else some gaping white gaps is also going to look really weird at the category photo level. And I'm going to make one for the top over here, and then just copy and paste it. We want to maintain the consistency of thickness in these borders and drag it to the bottom. And again, we want this to be identical to the top, because it's going to look weird if the borders are different on different angles of this picture. And of course, we're going to have to make one on the left hand side vertically as well as the right hand side. So copy and paste again, and then I'm just going to have to reorient the image, which is really easy to do with my mouse. And I just want to shorten it so you can change these settings up here to make it absolutely vertical. Perfect. And now it doesn't matter if this line is cutting off of the canvas, because only things on the canvas will actually show. And now this border is looking perfect, and it will serve as a perfect space between different category photos on district theme. This is starting to look like a great category photo for the bedding category. And now I just want to make a button for this category photo that people can actually click on. But I hope it's so clear at this point that we made this together with only an AliExpress photo, right? And some rectangles, and it's gonna be looking great. So you don't even need stock photos if you don't really wanna use them. You can even use the Creators Library by AliExpress. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this button in the right position now. And of course, we wanna make this button more clickable. And if you remember, there's gonna be the handy dandy drop shadow effect. So I'm gonna go ahead and press FX and then go into the drop shadow. Make sure you have the right rectangle clicked. You don't want to add the drop shadow randomly. And now we're going to play with these settings so it looks like a button. I've changed the opacity, and we're going to play around the distance. And I'm going to make this a pretty big spread, and then see if we can play around with the size and the distance to kind of give it a little bit more tightness around this shape. So I just want to make sure that this looks good. All right, that's starting to look better. And this drop shadow basically gives this image that kind of 3D effect on the shape. And I actually changed my mind. I zoomed out, and this doesn't look like as well as it did on the banners. Kind of looks a little tacky. So I'm not going to use the drop shadow. I'm going to use the outer glow instead, which is a tool we've used together as well. And I'm just going to change the spread and the size until this looks a lot better, a little tighter. And there it is. I think this looks perfect, and it's something we can work with. Now I'm going to add in some text. So we're going to go over into that horizontal text tool over there, and then we're going to make the text for bedding. And I'm going to keep the same font consistent that I've been using throughout this site, right? What big brands do is consistency in their identity. Apple has invested millions of dollars just developing their own suite of fonts. So we don't want to really be playing around with a lot of different styles and colors and things like that. We want to give a authentic, unique vibe, because that's what big brands do, and consumers trust big brands more than anything. So very simple, shop bedding, and I'm just going to drag this back. Okay, perfect. And there you go. This is a beautiful, beautiful category photo with a button that people can click. And you can see that you can do this for any photo on AliExpress, right? Any type of niche. I'm gonna go ahead and save this bad boy so we can leverage it onto our website. I'm so excited to see this whole thing come together now that we're moving along these category pictures. And I'm going to show you a little hack, right? Just to show you how easy it can be. I'm going to take this image, which was also taken from another product on AliExpress, and just use the same format I've set up already for bedding, right? So I'm just going to drag it and position it so it looks good. And awesome. All right, we want to make sure that we're a little precise here. And there it is. Okay, we want to make sure it's centered and nice. And now what I want to do after I make sure, okay, perfect, is I want to drag the layer down right underneath all the other ones so it goes behind the layers we were creating before. And there you go, right? You see the border appears, the button appears as well, and we just have to change this text now, right? Shop kitchen, perfect. And here we have another category photo. So the moment we made the first one, second one, the third one, etc., is way easier to make because we want to maintain that consistency in design anyways. I'm gonna go ahead and save this one as a PNG as well, and this will be our kitchen category photo. Awesome. And it's really, really coming along. I hope you're learning a lot throughout this process. And now let's get the other category photo out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and unlock that layer, and I hope you really get the trend here. I'm going to copy and paste this image over here as well. We're literally going to be rinsing and recycling the same process over and over again until we have very engaging category photos for all of our categories. Move that layer down. There it is. And this is going to be the shop home category, so we just want to put in home, make sure that this thing is centered and it's looking good. Perfect. All right, and let's go to the next one. So this one's going to be lighting, right? And this is amazing, right? It's amazing AliExpress gave us images like this one to work with, and it's even better when we can use AliExpress images like this, because guess what? These category photos actually correspond to the products that we're selling, which is sometimes what you lose in stock images. So this is great. So make sure that before you even look for other creative options, you're looking at what AliExpress is already giving you. Drag this layer down so it's in the right position. Awesome. And now we want to make sure that as much of this lighting is showing as possible, so it's very obvious what we're selling over here. Okay, this is a little bit messy. I want to make sure the edges are clean. There it is, looking good. And of course, we take that horizontal text tool, adjust this text, and we just want to keep saving these iterations as we're doing them. Perfect. All right, so let's plug this bad boy in as well to our computer. And it's always good to save as a PNG, and it's also good to at least save one PSD file when we do this sort of rinse and recycle. In case we have to change these category photos later, we can just go ahead and use that same file, and we can keep all the typography and all the design. So this one is going to be the dining category. You can see it's gorgeous, you know, bamboo sort of utensils that AliExpress is providing. I'm going to make sure this thing is fitting in the right way. Perfect. And let's drag that layer down as well. Amazing. And then what we're going to be doing is obviously making sure the product is actually centered, and you can see as much of it possible with the button now. And we're going to make this shop dining. Awesome. Make sure the text is centered in the box. Perfect. That is looking phenomenal. All right. There it is. There it is. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I really like making sure that customers are coming on to as clean of a website as possible. I'm going to go ahead and save this thing as well as a PNG. Let's plug it in. Okay, awesome. Dining category pick. Perfect. And now we're going to go to this one. This one is going to be for the bathroom collection. So go ahead, resize it after we copied and pasted it over. And what's going to be cool is we're going to get basically one PSD Photoshop file that has all these variations. So we can kind of just save one file and keep track of all of this, make this shop bathroom. Perfect. And drag it over. Now that we're done making category photos for each and every one of our categories, I hope you realize just how simple this process is, right? Photoshop is nothing to be scared of. I'm really glad that you were with me step by step in this whole experience. And I'm sure these skills are going to come in so handy for your brand and niche dropshipping store. And it's just simply going to crush everyone else's. Now that we're back into Shopify, it's time to plug these bad boys in. So I'm going to go ahead and select image, upload, and keep in mind this is the gallery element in district theme, so we're just going to select, and now we have to make sure that this bedding category is actually linking to the right collection, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pick the right one. There it is. Perfect. And we just go down the line and keep plugging in more and more. Let's wait for this thing to load. Perfect. You can see it's linked directly to bedroom, so we linked that correctly. And it's always good to test, right? You don't want to start running traffic and have thousands of people come onto your site and pay a lot of money only for it not to be functional. It is a big frustration when you realize there's something majorly wrong with how you've set things up. So we're going to link this one for the kitchen category. Perfect. And we're just going to go down the road. We don't have to keep checking these. I'm very confident that I can do that basic task. Perfect. Okay, awesome. And let's make this the lighting collection, of course. Awesome. And now we're going to go down the line. And it's so cool. I always get a kick out of this part of it. I love seeing a website just come together, right? Like we visualize this together, right? The store, IKEA, Pottery Barn type of drop shipping branded niche store. And now it's just fully coming to life. So we're going to put in the bathroom collection at this point, link it up to the right category. Perfect. And notice how I already made all of these categories and these navigation elements before I did this, which is what I recommend you do. And that's also how this course has been structured. If you're skipping around these lessons, make sure that you do cover the earlier ones as well. And we're going to make this one the last one, the home decor section. These pretty flowers. Perfect. Okay. We're going to save it finally. And now we're going to be able to admire our masterpiece from the lens of a consumer. It's nothing short of a masterpiece. I actually think this brand new niche dropshipping store is even better than IKEA's website. And we created this together. You know, maximum 1, maybe 2 hours, few hours at max if you're just getting started with Photoshop. And you can take as many Photoshop courses as you want, but what I'm teaching you is all the essential toolkit skills you need to know to make an engaging website like this one. And this is awesome.